Merry Christmas. Right, I'm going to show you how to make Italian meatballs. It's pretty much the same recipe as the fricadella that I put up yesterday. I've got to be quick because my wife is making cinnamon rolls, so she wants me out of the kitchen. So it's a real quick one, really easy, super delicious. It's not the way the Italians make meatballs, but dare I say it's better because it's me that's making them. Basically it's a fusion of Danish and Italian because I'm using the recipe for fricadella, which is with milk, which the Italians don't normally do, but I'm putting in beef instead. So basically it's a fricadella, it's a beef fricadella. I'm going to make a really easy tomato sauce, and I'm going to show you how easy it is. It is so simple that anyone can do it, like most of my stuff. I've just cut a few corners, especially on the tomato sauce. Not so much with the farce, but with the tomato sauce. It's really easy, but it's really, really good. Okay, enough messing around. I've got my mixer. I've got my beef. The recipe I'm putting up here is for 1 kilo. Obviously, if you're doing a half kilo, just half it. I mean, I do a bit extra and I put them in the freezer. So this recipe is for 1 kilo. So we've got 1 kilo of chopped meat. In this case, it's beef. It could be pork. It could be chicken. It could be a mixture of veal and pork. It doesn't really matter, or beef. So I'm going to put that in, and I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of salt. Not heaped, just sort of ordinary teaspoons. There we go. Then I'm going to use the paddle here, the paddle beater for the machine. And I'm going to mix it. Normally you do it for a couple of minutes, but we're going to leave it. To be honest, a lot of people just put all this in one go and mix it around, but there's something about putting the salt in first and mixing it. In Danish they call it liniment, but I'm not really sure what purpose it serves. I think it makes the meat a bit more tender, but I'm not sure. I've done it loads of times where I put everything in and mixed it, and it's never been any problem. So if you push for time, just do that. All right, I'll give it another go. All right, we're going to do the quick version. So what I'm going to do now, I've got my little blender. In here, again, because it's for 1 kilo, I've got two medium-sized onions. Or what equals 2 medium-sized onions is probably about 4 small onions, but doesn't really matter. So I've got my onions, and I've got some roughly chopped garlic, which I'm going to put in as well. Put that in. Put my lid on. Get this one, and then I'm just going to blend it out. If you like your onions roughly chopped, just roughly chop them. If you like it puree, just puree them. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes if you like it to be really, really fine, put in a little bit of milk. Just so it sort of makes like a paste. All right, done and dusted. What else do we need? So that goes in as well. Get all the good stuff in there, all those onions. You know me, no waste, OCD, saves me loads of money. All right. Then we've got 100 grams of flour, and I've got 50 grams of oats. Could use breadcrumbs. It's just, you could replace the oats with the breadcrumbs. Doesn't really matter. I don't have any breadcrumbs, so I'm just using oats. So 100 grams of flour, 50 grams of oats. Put those in as well. Lovely. Then, again, for 1 kilo, you need 2 eggs. Crack these in. Make sure it doesn't come any shell. Comes shell in there, shit. That's everything you're not supposed to do. All right, one more. That's why you normally crack it into a bowl first, just to make sure, but we'll take the chance. There you go, 2 eggs. Wash my fingers. All right, give it another mix. Oh, give it some electricity. Give it another mix. All right. Now, normally I do this with by sight with the milk. I just pour it in until I get the consistency I want. But because I'm doing a recipe, I'm going to actually measure it. So this is, I would guess, it's about 2 decilitres for 1 kilo of meat. We'll put in 1 decilitre. See how that goes. I can see straight away it's going to need more. So I'm going to put another decilitre. How's that looking? And I'm going to put in 1 more and that's it. So it's 3 decilitres for 1 kilo. All right. Then we want some black pepper. Black pepper. Everybody loves black pepper. Put as much as you want in. As much as you like black pepper, put it in. Let's do this. There you go, black pepper. Stir that in. Last thing, yeah, is oregano and what have we got? Have we got any timian? All right, we'll just put in oregano. I've got no timian. You could put in dried basil, timian, oregano, a little bit of estragon if you wanted to, not so much that you, just as a background flavour, like a tiny pinch. A little bit of rosemary if you wanted to. Could put fresh herbs in if you wanted to as well. It's just easier with dried. Give it one more mix. That's about it. I'm going to mix that for about another minute. What you do is you put it in the fridge. You leave it for half an hour. You don't have to, but it just settles down. It makes all the juices sort of go into the oats and the flour. It soaks the juices up, so that when you fry them, the juices stay in your meat, so all the juice doesn't run out, and the eggs help with that as well. So that's it. What I do, yeah, half an hour in the fridge, and then I've got my frying pan. I'm going to fry these off in a little bit of oil, not olive oil, just ordinary oil and butter. And I'll show you that when I get there. All right, I'm in a rush. My wife's gonna kick me out of the kitchen. All right. Back again. Let's turn this on. Put it on number 5, yeah. Oil and butter, ordinary oil. What was it? Rapsolia, which is flaxseed oil. That's the farce. It's just the same as a fricadella farce. If you wanted to make Danish fricadellas, you do exactly the same thing. You just replace the beef with pork and veal. I've got this little beauty, ice cream scoop. They're quite expensive, but they're perfect for fricadellas. I've got 2 of them in different sizes. So heat your oil up to about number 5. Again, it's really important that you don't fry them too hard. Everybody's stovetop is different, so you've got to find the right temperature. They need to be frying, but they're going to fry on one side for 5 minutes. So it can't be too high, so they go black. You want them to be caramelised, but not too caramelised. Put a bit of oil in there. And what you do is you fry them on one side. You don't touch them, you just leave them alone. You can lift them up with a little spatula and see, has it got enough colour? Just lay it back down again if it hasn't. But 4 or 5 minutes, and then you flip them, and the same again, 4 or 5 minutes on the other side. And then what you do is you put a lid on. Move my coffee, delicious. What I do, when I fry them on both sides, I put the lid on like this. It's actually not a lid, it's a pizza tray, but it works. And that just holds the heat in there, and you turn the heat right down to number 2 or number 3. And then obviously the pan heats up, the steam and the heat stays in there, so they cook all the way through. That saves you having to turn on the oven for 15 minutes just to make sure they're cooked in the middle. So just a little trick for you. If we go straight away, I'll go like this. You can, if you don't have an ice cream scoop, just use 2 spoons. Just make balls with spoons, or 1 spoon in the palm of your hand. Put a bit of water in the palm of your hand and form them to balls, whatever size you want. Doesn't matter. For me, this is perfect for the Italian meatballs. You see that one? There you go. It needs to go up a little bit. I can see that's not hot enough. just starting to bubble. What I'll do is I'll put it up to number 7, get it up to heat, and then put it down again. So now I'll quickly do a whole tray of these, or a whole pan. The heat's come up, turn it back down to number 6. It's not going to work, this. Obviously I'm going to have to do this in a few batches. There we go, can't get any more in there. So that's it. So if I set this for 5, give them 5 minutes, and we'll see what happens. I might turn that down to number 5 so it doesn't fry too hard. All right, see you in 5 minutes. Now they've had 6 minutes, 5 minutes. So let's have a look, we'll flip them over. There you go, perfect. So what you do now is you just flip all of them over. Oh, these look good, man. That's the sort of colour you're looking for. I mean, if you want them a bit darker, that's fine as well. You know, some people like them really crispy, but... So yeah, I'll give them another 5 minutes. And I've got it, like I said, I've got it on number 6. So whatever works for you on your stove, you do that. See you in 5. All right. You can see, let's have the, oh, look at that. But you can see this one, yeah, you can see it's not cooked in the middle. So that's why we do this now, yeah. So now we turn it down to number 2. Put my lid on. And leave it on for about, again, 4 or 5 minutes. It's just to make sure they're completely cooked through. If they were for now, what I could do is I could take them out as they were, uncooked in the middle. I could make the sauce quickly in the same pan without washing it. Just use the same oil, fry some onions, fry some garlic, put the tomatoes in, cook the tomatoes for 10 minutes, then put the sort of semi-cooked meatballs back in and do them finished in the sauce. But because a lot of these go in the freezer, I'm going to make sure they're completely cooked through, and then I know they're finished. Freeze them down, and then when I need them, I can get them out of the freezer and use them for dinner or lunch or whatever it is. All right, so this is going to take another 4 or 5 minutes. On number 2, important it's low heat so they don't burn. And that's it. 5 minutes later. Completely cooked through. Now obviously I've got to cook, yeah, I've still got probably 750 grams of, or a kilo of fast left, so I've got to keep cooking. When I've done them, I'll put up the video for the tomato sauce. Really easy. Garlic, a bit of onion, bit of garlic, red wine if you want it, or not if you don't want it. But yeah. All right, I fried all the meatballs. That's a huge portion. I've got 36 meatballs here. That's a lot of food. Like I say, they're going in the freezer. Right, same pan, same oil. I haven't had to change any of the oil or the butter out. So all of that has been cooked in this. It's because the heat is so low, it doesn't really burn the butter. So we don't need to. And I'm going to keep that oil in there. All that caramelization from the meat. That's important. That goes in the sauce. So I've chopped 2 cloves of garlic. That's going in as well. I've not really finely chopped them. I've just roughly chopped them. If you want to finely chop them, do it. Oh, I didn't even turn that on. Let's get it on to 6. There we go. I'm going to fry those off a little bit. They're really thinly cut, so they should melt in. When we used to work in the hotels, we used to have to puree them with salt, like crush them with salt. It just takes so much time. They sort of dissolve in the sauce anyway, so I don't really bother about it. But again, if you want them really pureed, or if you want to grate them in or whatever, it doesn't really matter. There we go. Get those sweated off. You can see you don't want to give them any colour. They just want to be lightly sweated off. Then I'm going to put in. This is just pureed tomatoes. Put that in. If you were going to put red wine in your sauce, you would do it with the garlic. You'd put your red wine in there before you put your tomatoes in, and reduce all the red wine off, I'm not going to use red wine, but you could do that. I didn't have any onions, so normally I could have put some chopped onions in, but I think there's so much onion in the meatballs anyway that it doesn't really matter. But again, if you wanted to put more onion in there, sweat it off with the garlic, no problem. And I've got one more of these. I'll put that in as well. And then what I do is I put in one of these full of water as well, yeah. These are 500 grams. So that's, fill that up to the top. Put that in as well. That's basically going to be my stock. And because I've got OCD, I'm going to do this to get the last bit of tomato out of that one as well. There you go. OCD at work. All right. Turn this up a little bit because we want it to come up to the boil. Now, I'm going to put in a little bit more oregano. Probably about a teaspoon. I like oregano. I've got a little bit of basil. Put that in as well, a little bit. Not too much. I prefer oregano to basil. I prefer timian as well. I don't have any timian. I'm going to put in some tarragon, yeah. But again, it's because I've got it in the cupboard and it's hanging around, and I want to use it up. But obviously, it's not a tarragon sauce. It's just so it gets a note of tarragon. So really, basically, it's just my OCD saying I want to use up the tarragon. So just a little bit. It's just going to give something extra to the sauce. It's not so you taste it and you think, oh, it's a tarragon sauce. It's just so you've got that background note. All right. I need a spoon. Stir that around. And obviously, because I've got the water in there, which is my stock, I'm going to put in a beef stock cube. So I crumble that in as well. This is a beef meatballs, so you want beef stock in there. Obviously, if you had fresh beef stock, it'd be better, but who's got that, you know what I mean? All right, and the last bit, yeah, again, I think I spoke before about balancing, yeah, so we're going to put in a little bit of tomato puree. I'm not a big fan of tomato paste, but, sorry, tomato ketchup, but I'm going to put in a little bit of ketchup, not too much. I know it's not a ketchup sauce. What else are we going to do? Yeah, because I didn't put any onions in there, I've got some onion powder. I've got this, so I might as well just use it. I'm going to put in a big old teaspoon of onion powder, maybe a little bit more. Love onion. So yeah, that was that. Stir that around. And this is the balancing bit, yeah. I really like English sauce, yeah. Because it's a dark sauce. Put some, if you like it. If you don't like it, don't put it in. But I really love it. Yeah. It gives that umami, the fifth taste. So as much as that as you want to get in, probably about 2 teaspoons to 2 teaspoons, depending on how much you like it. A lot of this is taste, yeah, what you like. And now I've got this, yeah. These are the pickled onions that I did. In there is vinegar and sugar. So if you don't have this one, put in a spoonful of sugar and a spoonful of vinegar, ordinary vinegar, or what do you call it, sherry vinegar, or you could, in this one you could use balsamico because it's a dark sauce, it doesn't really matter, but any kind of vinegar you've got. Because this is a combination of vinegar and sugar, it's 2 in 1, plus I get the flavour of the onions. So I'm going to put in, I guess normally I don't measure this out yet, but if I'm going to do a recipe, then I would say with this I'd put in 2. And again, I think I've said this before, but vinegar is a flavour enhancer. So it brings out the flavour of the tomatoes. So, and obviously we're going to need a little bit of salt because you've got that beef stock in there, so not too much. We can always put more in. That beef stock cube is really salty, so you have to watch that. And again, black pepper, as much as you want. The more the merrier, you know. I love this stuff, man. Yeah, you can see I like black pepper. All right, we'll say that's enough. All right, the only thing with this one is it needs to cook for, the longer it cooks, it's like a bolognese or whatever, or a chili con carne. The longer it cooks, the better. But obviously, I don't expect you to have this cooking for two hours. You've got the price of electricity is expensive, and obviously the whole point of this is that it's quick and easy. So I would at least simmer it for at least 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes. Taste it, because you're watching. I'll use a spoon. Normally I just put my finger in it and taste, but even that, I've not cooked out the tomatoes. It's already got a really good flavour from the beef stock and from the oregano and the vinegar and the sugar. The vinegar and the sugar and the Worcestershire sauce, the English sauce, is just for balancing. You're just balancing the dish out. That's where you sort of start developing your taste buds, tasting it. Does it need more salt? Does it need more sugar? Does it need something sour? You know, the five different tastes. They've all got to be there. The umami, the sugar, the sweetness, the salt, the sour, the bitter. Bitter's not too important. I always take the other four, and I always think of chili as well. I like a little bit of chili, a little spiciness, even though that's not essentially one of the flavors. But I like some chili. So you could put some chili sauce in there, or you could put some dried chilies or some fresh chilies, whatever. More pepper if you wanted it spicy. You know me, black pepper. Get more of that in there. Yeah, 10-15 minutes. Now, how's about that then? So after that's gone for about 10-15 minutes, then I'll put some of these in there. Obviously, I said to you I was going to freeze them down, so I don't know. I'll probably use half the sauce and a third of the fricadellas or the meatballs, just like a mum used to make. I did a little bit of maths, yeah. The whole dish, yeah, pretty much, give or take, cost about. This needs to simmer, yeah, not boil. Just simmer it. You can see it's starting to simmer now. The whole dish cost about 11 quid. Obviously that's Danish prices, and I bought some of the stuff on offer. I tend to buy whatever's cheap. I've got 36 meatballs, so if you say 4 per portion, that's 9 portions. So if you divide 11 quid between 9 portions, that's like a quid a portion, not even. Obviously, you can make it even cheaper if you cut some of the meat out and put in more vegetables. You can put in celery, you can put in more onion, you could put in cabbage. What do you call it? Spiskål, summer cabbage, white cabbage. You could put in carrots. You could put in aubergine, loads of different stuff. So you could do like half the meat with the same amount of veggies. So it would be like 500 grams of meat, 500 grams of veggies. Follow the recipe. You don't have to change anything out. It's just the meat to veg ratio. That will make it even cheaper. But like I said, I bought my stuff on offer, so I think that whole thing cost me 8 quid. Obviously, chopped meat, minced beef, is getting expensive now. So that's pork's still cheap. So you can use half beef, half pork. Whatever's happening. Doesn't really matter. But it's just to say how cheap it was. It's not even a quid a portion. If you went to a restaurant and bought something like this, and I try to think, would it be like, I don't know, 12 quid, something like that? I don't know. That's it. I'm going to cook this for 15 minutes. I'm going to put in the meatballs. I'm going to simmer it for 10 minutes, and that's it. And I'm going to serve it with some pasta and some Parmesan cheese, maybe some garlic bread, and that's dinner for me and my family. Half of it, like I say, I'm going to use a third of it, so I've got 2/3 in the freezer for the next time. I'm not going to use all that sauce. I've got the sauce in the freezer. So next time we're a bit rushed, we've got lots of stuff going on. The kids are going to gymnastics or something. Get out of the freezer the day before, and you've got a meal for next to nothing. All right, that's it. I don't think I've got anything else to say. Have the rest of Christmas. Have a happy New Year, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.